So we have seen enough of the components. I would suggest go to the material design library, go to the iOS 18 or 18 Figma design, go to their websites also, material design website. I'll just give you the links of this website itself. Material design is simple. Material design m3material.co, guidelines by Apple. These are the website. These are like Bibles for you guys. I would suggest go thoroughly to these websites. You will see you will be uh, like it's kind of a power that you would have. You can then tell, you would know what elements to use at what places and all, because these are all already thought out, so you don't want to reinvent something unnecessary, right? So what are the UI design principle? So in simple way, UI design principles are like rules for good designs. Okay, they are the rules for good designs. If you follow the rules, your designs will be better or good or whatever, as in they will be in synergy with the other designs that the company have launched. Okay, so there are a lot of design principles like hierarchy, progressive disclose, consistency, contrast, proximity. You just have to by heart these principles, so that each time uh, you put your cursor on Figma, or if you are in front of the Figma and you want to create some design, you'll always think about this principle first. Okay, and you'll always have a rationale for what you are creating. Okay, this each principle basically guides us in creating the interfaces that are not only beautify but the functional. Okay, ब्यूटीफाई तो करेंगे ही हम तो हमें पता है कि क्या कैसे अच्छा लगेगा and all of those things, but they have to be functional first also, right? You cannot you can create a button which is very huge in a way, but maybe that what's not required, right? Or you might not have some of the rationale behind those, or you might create a button very tiny and there will be functionality, user is not able to click on it, there will be fat finger problems, all of those things. Okay, when I say good designs is not aesthetically, okay, it should be beautiful as well as functional. So let's see those. Okay, this is hierarchy, consistency, proximity, progressive design. Let's go through the examples and one by one we'll see these things rather than just seeing it on the one slide itself. Okay, let's see the hierarchy example. Okay, so strong visual hierarchy is basically the core of any successful design. Okay, when I say hierarchy, hierarchy is like you are the designer, right? And you are basically guiding users eye where they should look first, then what is the element that they should see, and then if they want to take any particular action, where to find the button and all of those things. So you want to make any particular information as easier for user to understand, right? And their hierarchy plays a higher role. Okay, and we'll see all this design principle actually overlaps on each other. So for here, let's see the hierarchy. Okay, if you see over here, like the name, the followers, and all of those things are at the same level, right? You're not able to understand where to look at first. Maybe you would just see this picture and you would see, okay, follow. Okay, but as a designer, you are guiding user. Okay, you see the picture, he is a gym raptis, then you can move your eyes basically to, let's say, 5k followers, because this is the important information and glanceable information that you want to provide. If user want to see, okay, who is Jim Raptors, then he would say, okay, then this is the hierarchy that you have given. You have not given it like a same treatment as this text, right? This is black and uh, let's say bold, but this is regular and in gray with a smaller size itself. And then here over here you are highlighting the important elements: 5k followers, 3 products, 353 post, and then there is a following button. So if you just compare this particular UI, you will be able to know this is easier to understand for a particular user. This is glanceable, right? Why? Because they have provided a better hierarchy. So as a designer, it's your job to organize this UI element in a way that it makes it easier for user to understand and navigate. Okay, in simple words. So that was hierarchy. Next is progressive disclosure. Okay, progressive disclosure is is like a design pattern that basically gradually reveals the information depending on the user's need, right? You must have seen, like in Instagram, this is the example of Instagram, where if you want to go and check the notification or the ads, or let's say if you was just want to see your payments related information, that Instagram app, they are not putting it on the front page itself, on this home page itself, right? Where they are putting, you might go to profile, and then there are some of the information. Then you would say, okay, go to settings. In the setting, these are because these are kind of a setting related elements. That's why you are putting it in the setting menu in a way. So once user click on setting, there he will be able to know, okay, here is the payments and that he wants to get. Even this insights, your activity, QR code, they're not putting it upfront on the homepage itself. And that is what is called progressive disclosure. So you first feed user what they really want, and what are your most the highest use cases that you would put it upfront. After that, you'll also have all the elements, but you will always put it, combine it, organize it in a logical manner, create a menu, and then inside that you will put it. So it is basically called as a progressive disclosure. Okay. This basically improves the customer experience. It's not Indian thali, like you have all the things in one thali, and then you would serve it to user, and then you'll be okay. पहले क्या खाऊं, पहले ये खाऊं या नो वो खाऊं. It would be more like, okay, पहले as a designer you would give them starter ले लो भाई, next main course आएगा, उसके बाद आइसक्रीम वगैरह आ जाएगा, that way. Okay, that is called like a progressive disclosure. The advantages also for this progressive disclosure, another advantage is like this is less error prone as well. Okay, less error prone, when I say it will also help user to make less error basically, right? Otherwise, if you have these elements, user can accidentally clicks and would go to some of these pages. So you don't want to do that. You want to keep few elements only on your home screen, then the next, and then in the other next. Okay, and this reduces the learning curve also. They don't have to learn all this thing at the same time. They, whenever they want to know about their accounts, they would just find out in their profile settings and the accounts. Okay. Okay, next one is consistency. So specifically, consistency is the key of any good design. Okay, like if you use multiple colors, multiple fonts, multiple styles, it will create lot of confusion uh, for a particular website or the app that you are creating, and you don't want to do that, right? Whenever I have seen, actually, 2 3 designers are working, they would come with their option and they will all look very different. You don't want to do that, right? So you will always have some guidelines which would ensure there is a consistency in the overall product, right? So consistency creates the familiarity also. Like for example, if you are working on a you must have seen the Google Pay app or the Phone Pay app. Let's say somebody is working on the bill payment का flow कैसे होगा, somebody is working on a credit card payment का flow कैसे होगा, right? You, even if there are two other different designers, okay, but by following the consistent language or consistent font size, consistent elements, user can actually, it will benefit both the cases. The person, the user who would do bill payment, go for the credit card bill payment, he'll understand, okay, he will have the memory of their bill payment on the particular app. Okay, this is how I did my bill payment. Now I'm doing the credit card bill payment, I think, and these are the elements that are consistent. Okay, this makes a user's life easier. Okay, because of the familiarity uh, in the processes or in the elements and all of those things. Okay. So what does consistency mean? Consistent UI means similar, using similar design patterns, identical terminology in prompts as in the title, subtitle, the the messaging and all of those things. Consistency in menus and screens, everything in a way, right? So here is the website example that has been given. Like as you scroll through this website, you're not seeing some different font itself. You basically, our mind kind of perceive it like, okay, this things like a title of this particular section. Okay, so this is the title, then this is the subtext, body text, then there are the there is the link and there is the image. So he'll understand what it is talking about. When he scrolls down more, okay, there he'll see, okay, this is the get extra credit in a second and all, but he'll understand, okay, this is in this particular component, this is the title. And they have used a consistent color also, like this neon green you would see flowing through all the components on this particular website. Even their links are of the same color. They are using it as a motif as well in images, in their graphs, in their infographics, in their mobile background screen as well. So this looks like a very cohesive design, right? Because of the consistency. Next, we would see contrast. Okay, so contrast, for the contrast, I would say the context is integral to contrast. Okay, like in hierarchy also we saw like some text was bold and some text was gray and small font in a small font. That is also creating some kind of a contrast, right? Contrast is not just in terms of colors, but in terms of your text sizes and all of those things. Okay. uh, Let me show you an example. What does it mean? What I mean by contrast in a way. Okay, let me just have this. Are you able to see my Figma, right? Cool. So I have created this. Okay, let me create one. Okay, let it be this color. Okay, I have created this circle. Okay, this is a simple circle. But what this circle say about itself? I think this circle just say that here it is a circle. That's it. It does not say it's a big circle or a small circle and all those things. But if I create another circle, okay, now the same circle have more things to say, right? This is a bigger circle. Why it is showing? Why it tells you that? Because there is a small circle. Are you getting me? There is a contrast. This is because of the contrast, and this contrast is actually communicating this thing, right? Uh, let's create another. Okay, let me put it over here. Let me. Acha, we are going to the age, kya? Okay, let me create another circle and let me give another color. Okay, now the same circle is actually providing the more information, right? This is of the same size of this color, but this is a gray circle. Okay, why it is giving this particular information? Because there is a now another color in the competition. There is a contrast. This might also communicating, okay, this is the primary circle, maybe these are the secondary circle, and this is maybe secondary and the small circle. This simple communication is getting done because of the contrast in their styles. Like when I say style, it's a color, size, and all of those things. Okay, got it. So I hope you have got the contrast over here. For the contrast also, if you are using the colors, then there are some good contrast and a bad contrast. So this chart actually showing like this is a bad contrast because a lot of users won't be able to distinguish between this particular color. for them it is as good as invisible. Okay, so there are some guidelines by there's a worldwide organization which looks into this, uh, the which actually basically provides the guidelines for which is the good contrast, which is the bad contrast. We'll see in the next some of the slides also. At the end of the slide, we have some plugins which actually help us uh, getting good contrast or suggesting better color to have a better contrast and better accessibility for the elements. Let's see the next thing. Yeah, proximity. So what is proximity is actually is like if you let me just go over here itself. Let me just delete this thing. Like if you cohesively position two design elements next to each other, they usually creates a connection, a visual connection with each other, right? When I say like this, let's say if I create this, there is another one and there is another one, right? Like you will always perceive these circles as a group of circles, like the group in a way, like they are creating a square, let's say, uh, or a cube, maybe you can say, but they are same, and they are same because of their proximity. Okay, if I make this a little bit uh, with the distance with these circles, then your mind will perceive like, okay, these circles are different than these circles or these species. Okay, this is all happening because of the proximity. When you keep two elements next to each other, they kinds of also create a connection, that I want to say. Okay, so in that way, if you where you would use this, okay, creating a website where you will create an header. Okay, let me just create this big header. Okay, and then there will be some another body text or something like let me just give some. Okay, and there is uh, some another header, let's say. Okay, now if you keep this body text over in middle of this two headers, let's say this is header 1 and this is header 2, when any user would glance over it, it would feel like, okay, this is a separate thing, this is separating, and this is separating. But when you keep it next to each other, then they create a connection between them. And then you feel like, okay, this is header 1 and this body text is related to whatever the information in the header 1. Then let's say you might have the body text 2 for this header 2 or something like that. But if you put it in this way, like it would feel like they are completely different. If you have the more spacing, then definitely they're gonna look like they are talking different information. Okay, so that is how the proximity works. So here you can see like this text and book cover is in the proximity. That's why you get to know, okay, this is one item itself, this is the second item, this is the third item. Imagine if they have the same spacing with all the each and every elements, you won't be able to understand, okay, this particular text is about this book or the bottom book, whatever, right? That way. So you always have to think about the proximity, always use the breathing space between all the elements, all the groups, maybe I would say, to make your design looks much better and to be comprehensive enough. So again, I would say okay, when you see the material design guidelines or human interface guideline, you will find some of the section which will be talking about the spacing also. I don't know if it is there in the material design, but usually in the design guidelines, you always have a spacing as a component itself. So you would know whether you have to keep the more spacing between, or how much is the spacing that you will have to keep between two elements and all of those things. Usually these guys follow the 8 pixel guidelines, so you will see like 24. I don't know why it is 18. but everything would be in terms of 8 pixels. So you can see 8 on the top, 8 on the bottom, 16 on the left side, right? So 8 pixel grid system is widely followed by Android and Apple as well. So if you are creating a native app specifically for the iOS, then maybe you will be using the iOS guidelines. If you are making it for the Android specific, then you will be using the material design guidelines. For example, let's say if you are creating something, let's say you, and there is a share icon that you have to put. Okay, you in the iOS app, you will be putting the share icon which is more familiar with the iOS user. Okay, I'll show you that one. Share icon, iOS versus Android. Yeah, this is the image I was looking for. Yeah. So this is the Android ka share icon. This is the iOS ka share icon. Use the same share icon, let's say Android share icon, even on the iPhone app. iOS user will be confused whether this share, what this icon is about. Okay. Or if you use this particular share icon in the Android phone, Android users will be confused about what is this icon about. Okay. So you will always follow the respective guidelines for the for those platforms. Not all, but few of the guidelines you will have to follow. Okay, so let's see 5 levels of UI designs. So as you are, some of you are already graphic designers, some of you are working as a designer itself. So you must be knowing when you started, okay, as a beginner in any particular field, okay, you basically evolve over time, right? The same with the design skills. Okay, the design skills also evolves over the time from, let's say, beginner to masters. Okay, and when you give the same project to a, let's say, beginner and to a master UI designer, specifically UI designer, you will see the level of output that would come. Okay, so the same thing we are going to see currently. Okay, so let's identify the skills levels as in. So this, let's say this is like a level 1 design. Okay, so if you see this particular design, okay, over here, so you, what you would notice, okay, here are, there are like all the problems with this particular designs are there, but we'll just try to find out on our own. Okay, so this is a level 1 designer who has submitted the designs. You can see over here the hamburger icon is very thin lines compared to the notification icon which is very big. You can see the bottom navigation bar, the icons are huge, I would say. And you can see there multiple fonts has been used over here and all. So at a glance only you would get to know this is like some beginner level work that this designer seems to have done, right? There is no alignment, there is no hierarchy in the designs itself. Everything looks, even the background color is uh, very hard to uh, see, right? It making some of the elements, like if you see this cyan color notifications are like very hard to see, right? So these are the problem with the level 1 UI designer. Let's say if we just make some of the alignments better, okay, so you'd see, okay, this is kind of a level 2 designer. So what he has done basically, he has created a pretty well designed icons. Okay, still there is a background color, okay, which making this particular icons hard to read. There are multiple font sizes also, like if you see this upcoming, the size is same but the font are different. Like this is condensed and this is like uh, more wider, I would say. Then if you can see over here, join meeting is not middle align, awaiting is not middle align. There is no hierarchy in a way, like everything looks like floating in the air. Like if you see the spacing of this particular profile picture from the left and the spacing from this now, even the now and today are not aligned, and from the right side it is again, you get the idea. It's somewhat better than level 1 but it's still not good, right? You don't want to be on this level. Okay, so let's up this game. Okay, let's go to level 3. So in the level 3, what is done? This looks much cleaner because the background color, that unnecessary pink, blue and all is not there. It's a white. Then you can see the font size are, they've used font size this condense. It's not really going with the with each other, right? Then if you see the proportion over here, like over here, if you see the plus icon is smaller, then these profiles are bigger, right? There's a problem. Then this radius is not matching with the button wala thing, button radius itself, right? And then there is a misalignment over here also, like this Angelina. Let's see, like this Angelina, the baseline is not aligning with the profile picture itself. Okay, so this guy has done something good, but it's still not there. As in, it's not the uh, final design that the developer that you might want to go to your users, right? Okay, so like you can just read this text also, and you will get to know what are the problems, but by just looking at the image also, we kind of figuring out what are the problems they are there. Okay, so over here also they have added as in some of the problems. Okay, so let's up this game. Let's go to level 4. Okay, so when we go to level 4, you can see like things are pretty much aligned in a way. The font is readable over here. What else it has been changed? I think there is a contrast over here, in a better contrast, I would say. And but here the spacing are not, it seems like this spacing, if I go over here, like you can see there is overlap. So spacing are not clear. The color as it looks good in a way. This particular join meeting, then the read report. It's not like read report is in some different color, join meeting in some different color. It looks like this is the primary action that the designers, the users might want to take. Okay. Then the spacing overall is not consistent. Like if you see above your teammates and upcoming appointments above it, it's not consistent in a way, right? What are the other problems? Now the radius is matching. This looking good. Let's see here. Button icon too thin. Okay, this arrow is too thin, it seems, right? We're not able to get that. Even the contrast is not good. I wouldn't say this color is that the better job that the designer has done. Okay, but it could have been better. Like this is not accessible. Reading white text on the green background, right? But the overall alignment looks much better. Okay, let's now go to the expert level. Now, if we see, not only he just have added icon, he have specified the touch target over here. Like this is the touch target. Maybe if we would have a Figma file of this and we would hover on this particular element, we would get, okay, this is the touch target. And I think the touch target would be 44 by 44 or 48 by 48. So this is why I'm saying 44 by 44, 48 by 48, because this is as per the respective platform guidelines. Can you guys tell me which one? Like there are two OS, right? iOS and Android. Which OS suggests 44 by 44 as a minimum tappable height, and which OS suggests the 48 by 44, 44 48 by 48 as a minimal tappable size? Tappable size in the way, let's say if I'm creating an icon, okay, let's say this is the screen. If I have to click, if I want user to click on this, let's say pencil icon, I should indicate the touch target so that developer would know I have to provide this much area for this icon to be clickable, this icons to be clickable. Okay. Uh, yeah, Devi has written iOS suggests 48 by 48. Okay, so it's the other way around. Actually, iOS suggests that 44 by 44 should be the touch target, and Android says 48 by 48 should be the touch target. But usually what I have seen other apps do is like they usually take 50 by 50 straight away as a touch target. So their icons looks their buttons looks bigger also, and looks good as in there's no harm in that. It's just that the minimum size should be 44 by 44. That's it. It doesn't mean that your icon has to be always 44 by 44 size. Your visible area can be like over here, the visible area for this 17 is the smaller, but the touch target is bigger over here, right? Over here as well. Like the touch target for all of these things has been specified. This is the level of detailing you should do if you are on the level 5. If you want to become a level 5 designer. Okay. So here if you see all the spacing are good. Now you can see the text is also readable. It's not white on the green, it's black on the green. So it is fairly visible, as in it's giving a better contrast ratio. Then all these things are proportionated. The hierarchy is also there right now. Like you would directly know, okay, this is Thomas Lawrence, and if you want to join meeting, you can just click on join meeting and it will get started. There is an indicator also. Like earlier design, I have seen just the color has been added, but like there are people who are not able to differentiate between two colors also, which have, let's say, similar on the similar brightness level and all. So for them, having this distinct element is easier for them to understand, okay, on which tab they are on. Okay, so this level 5 designer has taken care of that as well. Okay, so this is where I think all of us should be on this particular skill level. Okay, whenever we are providing our design development ready version, we should be taking care of all of these things. Yeah, there is a level 6 also. Yeah, this is where it gets more interesting, right? We have seen these levels, level 5, level 3, level 1, but where is the magic? Okay, so you can add the magic by adding some micro interactions, like adding some screen transitions or beautiful animations. So when you add of these things, it provides some wow factor. Use Crade app. I would suggest download the Crade app. Just see how their UI looks, works. They add a lot of animation into that, and it just creates that personality for the company. Like when you say Crade, uh, you usually make payments with the Crade app, but they have made it much more in a fun way. Okay, and if you see Google app, Google also have added some of the animation there. It gives a different personality. So that is like a level 6 designer would do. Whenever he's shipping something, you might want to add some meaningful micro interaction, not interactions just for the sake of adding it, meaningful micro interaction, right? Then the screen transition, your screen has the screen to screen transition also has to be very natural, right? So when you click on something, if the screen is coming from the right side, it has to slide from right. If the screen is coming from the bottom, like it's like a pop-up model window, then it has to be those kind of interaction. It won't be like the screen is as a bottom sheet, but it is coming from the right side. It would not look natural, right? Something is coming from bottom, when you close it should go to the bottom as well, right? That is like having meaningful screen transitions. Then of course beautiful animation, you might want to get user attention to something, so you can add some meaningful animation. By adding this becomes like expert level UI designer would usually do that. Usually we try to do the developer handoff with the level 6 designs. Okay, so that developers understand what is the scope for their design, their development, and they can incorporate all the things that you have imagined.